Welcome back to the elevator hangar. Today we're talking EarthX. I'm now proud to be part of the team over at Amelia Aircraft Brokerage. If you're interested in selling your existing Cirrus or purchasing a new Cirrus, feel free to email me at jake@masonamelia.com and I'll help you with the entire process. All right, so for those of you who have seen the first EarthX video, we've got it all installed. We wanted to show you the location that we chose for the warning light. Basically on EarthX website, they show the STC information, and on page 18, it gives you an idea of where they want the indicator lights or the warning light to be placed. And it's slightly vague, which is kind of nice because then you can choose the location of the warning light and not necessarily be up on the panel. So here's how it's stated. A suitable location for the fault status indicator will be determined by the installer. One example is shown below, but aircraft will vary. Find an open area that will not interfere with the equipment and in plain view of the pilot. LED must be visible in all operating conditions. Install the battery fault status label near the LED. What we found when installing this, actually, luckily I figured this out before we installed it. This white edge, if you just paint that either black or just take a black magic marker to it, the install turns out so much cleaner if you're applying it to a black facade. And in our case, that's what we did. So we painted this black and then it just is a little bit more discreet instead of it looking so framed. So I do recommend that. It only takes a couple minutes and it just turns out much better. So we chose a spot in the plane where I can still see it as the pilot. If I look down and to my right, it's there. And according to the STC instructions, that then qualifies for the STC. They show another example of, this might be a 172, 182 that they're referencing, and it being on the co-pilot side. So that's also viewable from the pilot side. So that's okay too. You just have to place that warning light in a spot that is visible to the pilot, and that's all that matters. So again, what you get with the STC kit is your hold down bracket, your adapter for your vent tube, 90s for your vent, clamps for your vent, the wiring for your warning light, and then lastly, your battery fault status indicator plaque. Okay, that 21 pounds of weight savings is legit. You saw the scale, that's a big deal. A lot of guys are like, oh, I'll just stop eating a hamburger for 2 weeks. It's like, well, 21 pounds for a useful load on an airplane is a huge deal. However it's important to you, that's fine, but know that technically a useful load, 21 pounds, is a massive weight savings. And to only have to spend, say, $1,500, $2,000 to gain 21 pounds of useful load is incredible. I think, unless anyone can leave a comment of a better bang for the buck value on useful load increase, but paying only $2,000 for 21 pounds is incredible. Most guys would pay probably about $1,000 per pound of useful load increase. So it's legit, and so far no issues using the EarthX battery. We've flown Colorado, Florida, Wisconsin multiple times and everywhere in between with the EarthX battery, not a single issue. Starting, it does start the engine faster. It turns the starter a little bit faster than that Concorde or Gill ever could. So some concerns that people have had are the heat of the battery, or the heat that's getting to the battery. And on Copa forums, several guys have put a remote, Bluetooth thermometers under the cowl to see that heat penetration to that battery. And believe it or not, it does under the cowl exceed the 140 degrees that's in the documentation. But so far, no failures. And if you look at the documentation of the lead acid batteries, the limitations are even tighter. The Concorde and the Gill, both, when they're mounted in a Cirrus, exceed the manufacturer's guidelines on the limitations of those batteries. In cruise, it's typically not exceeding it, especially cruise at altitude, where the air is cooler. But on the ground, Arizona, hot summer day, can you exceed it? Yes. So EarthX does offer a insulated box that this battery can be placed in. The issue though with that insulated box is it keeps it cooler, but then it takes it longer to cool down. So there's pros and cons to it, and it adds a couple pounds. So Garmin issued a service advisory for the GDL60 and the EarthX battery. So those two things combined, which this airplane has both of those, because the GDL60 wakes up the airplane or the battery in the middle of the night and uploads data to the server of your choice. For instance, we upload to Savvy. When it does that, it's draining a little bit of the battery. And in the GDL60, there's a program preference as far as how much voltage needs to be seen in that battery in order for it to trigger on, so that it can do that uploading or downloading. And that includes the downloading of the databases. So when it triggers on automatically, right now it's not programmed properly for the EarthX battery. So there is a service advisory that Garmin issued just to let owners know that if you have the GDL60 combined with the lithium ion EarthX battery, to just be mindful that it might be draining that battery more than they intend. So I just always stick the Optimate TM281 on the airplane. If it's gonna sit for more than like a week or two, that way I don't have to sweat it. So in a nutshell, so far the concerns of heat, I haven't noticed any issues with battery charging, with battery starting. We do keep a tender on the EarthX battery, and that's the one that I showed in the previous video. The Optimate TM281, I'll include a link to this battery tender, and actually I'll include a link that gets you the battery, the entire STC install kit, and this tender all in one, so that you can't confuse it on the website as far as what to buy, what not to buy. So just make sure you don't use a standard like battery minder where it's dedicated or meant for a lead acid battery like the Concorde or the Gill batteries, as those have a diffusilator built into them, and you can damage the lithium ion battery with one of those tenders. So think of it as a maintainer, where if you're going to keep the battery for a long period of time uncharged, or where you're not going to run your airplanes for say maybe 2 weeks or a month and a half, it's a good idea to put the Optimate battery tender on it and keep that battery nice and healthy, so that when you go to start it up, it's at full voltage. So overall performance to date, zero downside to starting, to charging. Alternator 1 is charging the lithium ion battery, I would say a little bit more efficiently than it was the Concorde. And the reason I say that is, if you're familiar with Perspective or Perspective Plus, on Perspective Plus at least, when it's fully charged, when battery 1 is fully charged, it'll say +0. And most times when you're flying around in a Concorde or a Gill, it'll say +1. So the battery is like almost charged, but not perfectly charged, right? Not 100%. On the lithium ion EarthX, it takes 100% charge and it actually then goes to +0 faster than a Concorde or a Gill could ever get fully charged. So takeaways, I would say for $2,000, the reason I'm saying $2,000 is if you buy the battery, the full STC kit for install, pay your shop to install the warning light, buy the tender, you're at about $2,000, maybe a little bit more. A Concorde or a Gill is gonna cost you $1,000, maybe $1,200. To spend only $800, $1,000 more than a Concorde or Gill, gain 21 pounds of useful load. I cannot see another upgrade that's as economical as this upgrade. So highly recommend it. I haven't seen a single downside, only pluses. The airplane does start faster. You gain that 21 pounds useful load. And in theory, the battery's gonna last longer. Concordes and Gills, 3-4 years. This sucker should be more like 4 or 5. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.